You were deceived long before you ever understood what was happening. Not by mistake, not through ignorance, but deliberately. From the first moment you learned to count, you were given a version of money that was intentionally incomplete. You were told money is neutral, a simple instrument, something you earn, save, budget, and guard, something harmless, something that rewards patience, obedience, and good behavior. That story succeeded because it made you manageable, predictable, non-threatening. Here is the truth that is almost never spoken. Money is not neutral, it is not safe, it is not innocent. Money is a weapon. And the instant you grasp that truth at a visceral level, not as an idea but as a reality, your entire perception shifts, not gradually, not comfortably, immediately. Look closely at who actually shapes the world around you, not the loud performers, not the people recycling motivation or selling discipline from borrowed stages. Look at the individuals whose choices move markets, redirect institutions, rewrite narratives, and alter lives. They do not interact with money the way you were trained to. They do not worship it. They do not cling to it in fear. They do not panic at the possibility of losing it. They deploy it. They use money to influence outcomes before discussions even begin. They bend decisions without raising their voice. They rise above chaos, noise, and desperation. Their protection does not come from virtue or brilliance. It comes from understanding a rule most people are conditioned to ignore. Power does not respond to fairness or effort. Power responds to leverage. You were trained differently. You were taught to be cautious, to be thankful, to protect what little you have, as if money were fragile and easily destroyed. You were trained to save it, fear it, explain it, apologize for desiring more of it, and then you wonder why you feel weak. You have been handling a weapon as if it were a decorative object. Centuries ago, Machiavelli warned that the world does not move according to good intentions. It moves according to power. In the modern era, money is the most refined form of power humanity has ever produced, not because of what it purchases, but because of what it controls. Behavior, narratives, institutions, reality itself. But here is the dividing line most people never cross. Money only becomes a weapon when you stop treating it as a reward. The poor cling to money, the comfortable guard money, the rich deploy money, and the truly powerful shape the systems that define money itself. Predators do not ask what money provides emotionally. They ask what it accomplishes strategically. They sharpen it, aim it, use it to create imbalance between themselves and everyone else. And what you are about to learn has nothing to do with copying lifestyles. It is about adopting a mindset, one colder than motivation, detachment, Machiavellian detachment. The ability to look at money without fear, guilt, or moral anxiety, not to become cruel, but to become exact. Because once money becomes a weapon, you stop functioning as prey, you stop reacting, you stop hesitating, you stop freezing when uncertainty appears. You begin shaping the game instead of pleading for fairness. Listen carefully, not casually, not comfortably. Listen the way a soldier listens when he realizes the sound he hears is not thunder, but artillery. What follows will cut through everything you were taught, everything you believed, every invisible limit you accepted as real. You were taught that money protects you. It does not. Control protects you. And money, when weaponized, is the most efficient instrument of control ever created. The first principle is unavoidable. Money is psychological warfare. You believe money is about numbers, balances, percentages, calculations. But those who dominate understand something deeper. Money operates on fear, desire, status, survival, envy, shame, and power. Every financial decision is emotional first and logical second. And if you do not understand the emotional battlefield, intelligence will not save you. Most people fear losing money. That fear is exploited. Most people crave comfort. That craving is used to trap them. Most people seek approval. That need becomes a lever. Money is never just currency. It is leverage disguised as arithmetic. The average man does not lose because he lacks intelligence. He loses because he is emotionally exposed. Fear when he spends, shame when he invests, guilt when he wins, regret when he loses. His emotions broadcast constantly. and those signals make him predictable. Predictability is control. Machiavelli understood this when he wrote that men are driven by necessity, not freedom, and nothing creates necessity faster than money or the absence of it. This is why the first stage of weaponizing money is internal. You must become emotionally silent. Silence is not indifference. Silence is compression. Silence is dominance. Silence is the elimination of emotional leakage. When profits do not intoxicate you and losses do not destabilize you, you stop broadcasting weakness. You stop bleeding power. You become unreadable, and unreadable men rule systems. This is where separation begins. Most people chase money as if it were the destination. It never is. Money is transport. The real objective is positioning. In a world driven by illusion, power does not belong to the smartest or the hardest working. It belongs to the best positioned. Positioning is everything. A king does not fight on the battlefield. He does not charge. He does not bleed. Yet every soldier fights for him. Every resource flows toward him. Every victory compounds in his favor. Not because of effort, but because of position. But position is power. He remains elevated above chaos, noise, and the emotional hunger of the masses. His advantage is not motion, but placement. Money operates by the same law. When money is positioned deliberately rather than used reactively, it forms structures where the people's labor, time, and decisions move toward you without resistance. This is why the wealthy do not pursue opportunity. They engineer gravity, they generate pull. Their positioning bends reality around them, while the average man exhausts himself chasing remnants. The powerful remain still and allow the world to converge. That is weaponization. Money becomes an unseen magnet, a trap that does not feel like force, a pressure that works because resistance never activates. But to reach this level, another layer must be crossed, one that divides the merely rich from the elite. Narrative. Money is not the strongest weapon available. Belief is. The wealthy do not dominate money, they dominate the story surrounding it. Control, belief, and behavior follows. Control, behavior, and outcomes align. Control outcomes and reality itself reshapes. Money is narrative made tangible. Currency is trust formalized. Value is an illusion repeated until it hardens into fact. Money is not weaponized by accumulation. It is weaponized by shaping perception of money and of you. Once people believe your money represents something, their behavior shifts. Axis S opens. Resistance evaporates. Coin becomes influence. Influence solidifies into power. Power becomes inevitability, and inevitability is the first signal of domination. You are beginning to see the design. Money is not safety, not comfort, not success. It is a blade, and a blade without discipline is useless. A weapon without intent is hollow. Intent without control collapses under pressure. Control is the hinge upon which everything turns. Every ruler, strategist, and predator who has ever altered the world began by mastering the battlefield most people ignore: the mind. Control is never announced. It is demonstrated without display. And the first place it must exist is not income, assets, or investments. It is your relationship with uncertainty. Because uncertainty is where most people break, and where weaponized money does its most efficient work. The average person experiences uncertainty as threat. Volatility produces fear. Ambiguity causes paralysis. Risk triggers retreat. Instinctively, they move toward comfort, routine, and predictability. Stable salaries, approved paths, familiar structures. They exchange upside for reassurance and label it responsibility. In doing so, they relinquish leverage. Machiavelli understood that power does not expand in stability. It expands in disorder, in transition, in moments where old rules decay and new ones have not yet solidified. Chaos terrifies the masses because it removes guarantees. Chaos empowers the disciplined because it removes competition. Weaponized money thrives here, not by eliminating risk, but by absorbing it. The man who can endure uncertainty without panic becomes dominant the moment others scramble. While they seek shelter, he seeks position. This is the second principle. Weaponized money is patient in chaos and aggressive in clarity. Most people invert this. They act boldly when conditions feel safe and withdraw when instability appears. They invest at peaks and sell in fear. They expand when competition is dense and contract when opportunity is most concentrated. Their timing is emotional, not strategic, and emotion erodes power. The disciplined operator reverses this pattern. He waits while others rush. He advances while others hesitate. He understands that fear compresses opportunity and desperation exposes leverage. When systems shake, people err. They sell cheaply. They concede. They accept terms they would never tolerate under normal conditions. In these moments, money ceases to be storage and becomes extraction. Extraction is not moral abuse. It is transfer. Power always transfers from the impatient to the patient, from the emotional to the disciplined, from the reactive to the prepared. Money is merely the medium of that transfer. This is why the powerful never emotionally commit all their resources. They preserve optionality. Optionality is the capacity to move when others cannot, to exit when others are trapped, to enter when others are locked out. Optionality is not created by intelligence. It is created by restraint. The average man spends immediately, not from necessity, but because spending relieves emotion. It animates him, signals success, simulates control. That relief is borrowed, brief, and costly. Every impulsive dollar eliminates future leverage. The disciplined man delays gratification not from virtue, but from calculation. He understands that delayed action compounds power. He maintains liquidity beyond comfort. He resists proving himself through consumption. He allows others to signal status while he accumulates position. Over time, a quiet shift occurs. While others are bound by obligations, identities, and lifestyles, he remains unattached, mobile, fluid. Fluidity is power. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must appear generous without waste, frugal without stinginess. The same paradox governs money as a weapon. You must appear relaxed without carelessness, indifferent to loss without recklessness, confident without exposure. Most fail here. They either grip too tightly or spend too freely. Both reveal fear. Both expose dependency. Dependency is exploitable. Weaponized money demands emotional austerity, not material poverty, reactional austerity. Ego restraint, impulse suppression. Because once money no longer validates you, you can finally use it to dominate systems instead of serving them. Now comes the third layer, the one that separates operators from observers. Money as permission. The herd believes money is reward, earned after effort, approval, compliance. In reality, money is permission issued by systems designed by others. Salaries are permission. Loans are permission. Titles are permission. Even most investments operate under permissions governed externally. The powerful understand this and invert it. They do not seek permission to act. They use money to eliminate the need for permission entirely. This is the real threat of disciplined capital. It dissolves barriers others accept as fixed. It compresses time. It bypasses gatekeepers. It converts waiting into momentum. While others await approval, you move. While others negotiate, you decide. While others ask what is allowed, you make outcomes unavoidable. This is why institutions fear money more than ideology. Ideology can be debated. Money enforces results without dialogue. But this power carries a cost few are prepared to pay: isolation. The more you weaponize money, the less relatable you become. The fewer people you can speak to honestly. The more intent must be concealed behind neutrality. The more you benefit from being underestimated. Most people unconsciously sabotage assent because they fear separation more than failure. They choose poverty with belonging over power with solitude. They prefer shared weakness to solitary strength. Machiavelli warned that rulers who rely solely on affection fall the moment affection shifts. Authority must be anchored in consequence. Weaponized money creates consequence without cruelty. Distance without hostility. Authority without noise. You stop explaining. You stop justifying. You stop seeking consensus. You act from a position others sense but cannot confront. Gradually, dynamics invert. People adjust to you. They wait. They seek your response indirectly. They recognize you are no longer bound by the rules governing them. This is not arrogance. It is hierarchy asserting itself. Power is never declared. It is recognized. Weaponized money alters your posture toward reality. You stop negotiating worth. You stop reacting to disrespect. You stop panicking at loss. You stop chasing validation. You think in sequences, not moments. In position, not pleasure. In consequence, not comfort. At this stage, money ceases to be emotional. It becomes architectural. You design systems, place incentives, remove friction, construct pathways where outcomes favor you without constant force. Structure replaces effort. This is how empires form, quietly, not through hustle or visibility or noise, but through disciplined leverage, patience in chaos, emotional silence and positioning. Yet even this is not the final form. The most dangerous aspect of money as a weapon is not what it does to others, but what it does to you without restraint. Power corrupts not because it creates evil, but because it removes resistance. Without resistance, the untrained mind decays into indulgence, arrogance, and erosion. Machiavelli understood this, which is why the strongest rulers were often the most restrained. They did not overextend. They did not reveal everything. They did not confuse dominance with invulnerability. Weaponized money must be governed or it becomes self-destructive. Discipline is not morality. Discipline is clarity. Clarity of desire. Clarity of intolerance. Clarity of timing. Clarity between opportunity and temptation. Temptation is the enemy of power. Those who fail to govern temptation lose everything they believe they own. Those who master it move beyond reach. Temptation never announces danger. It arrives as reward, as comfort, as permission. This is where many men decay, not from defeat, but from mistaking relief for victory. When money stops being scarce, temptation mutates. Survival transforms into entitlement. Indulgence reframes as efficiency. Ego disguises itself as confidence. Shortcuts masquerade as intelligence. If discipline does not deepen at the same rate as leverage, collapse is not possible. It is inevitable. Machiavelli warned that fortune rewards preparation but punishes complacency. Power attracts tests disguised as privilege. The more leverage you gain, the more opportunities appear to abandon restraint. Every indulgence feels justified. Every boundary feels optional. Each concession trades long-term dominance for short-term relief. This is the third principle. Weaponized money must be defended from its owner. The average man believes wealth will liberate him from discipline. He imagines a threshold where struck to becomes unnecessary, where success grants immunity. He sleeps without intention, eats without control, speaks without calculation, commits emotionally without consequence. He believes power dissolves decay. In reality, power accelerates it. Money eliminates friction, and friction is the barrier that keeps weak behavior contained. When friction vanishes, whatever lacks discipline expands. Unchecked impulses grow louder, a fragile ego becomes visible, an unstable identity fractures further. This is why so many who reach wealth lose it quietly, not through dramatic collapse, but through gradual decay, minor indulgences repeated daily, small compromises justified by past wins, standards loosened, vigilance relaxed. Power rarely collapses suddenly. It drains slowly. And slow leaks are dangerous because they feel harmless until the structure gives way. The disciplined operator understands this and designs systems not only to accumulate capital, but to restrain himself. He establishes rules that hold regardless of emotion, momentum, or circumstance. He restricts access to himself. He schedules recovery deliberately. He audits his behavior without sentiment, Because familiarity is the greatest threat to power. Comfort inside a position breeds neglect. Neglect invites erosion. Machiavelli believed a ruler must periodically renew consequence. Not cruelty, not terror, but pressure, respect for boundaries. Internally, this translates to remaining demanding with oneself. Slightly uncomfortable, slightly unsatisfied. Standards are not negotiated, they are not softened because conditions are favorable. Stability is preserved through tension, not relaxation.
This is why genuinely powerful men
Often appear unremarkable to outsiders. Their routines repeat, their habits are consistent, their indulgences are narrow, their speech is measured, their lives lack drama because drama is wasteful. Drama creates exposure. Exposure attracts attack. While others use money to escape structure, you use money to reinforce it. You purchase time, not distraction. Focus, not noise. Insulation from chaos, not indulgence within it. Above all, you buy distance. Distance from impulsive environments. Distance from emotional people. Distance from situations that unnecessarily test discipline. Power is not demonstrated by how much temptation you endure. It is preserved by how little you encounter. This is where emotional detachment evolves into strategic detachment. You stop saving others from the consequences of their choices. You stop subsidizing weakness financially or emotionally. Because subsidy breeds dependency, and dependency corrodes respect. Money used as a weapon is never employed to rescue. It is used to position. Those who rise alongside you do so through alignment, not support. This is uncomfortable, most reject it because it feels cold. But Machiavelli was exact. Compassion without boundaries becomes self-destructive. Mercy without consequence invites defiance. And be fair without being soft, generous without being reachable, supportive without being exploitable. Weaponized money makes this balance possible by creating options, and options enable restraint instead of reaction. Then comes a deeper layer. Narrative control without narration. The moment leverage appears, stories form around you. Speculation begins, projection follows. Some admire, some resent, some attempt attachment. Others quietly prepare opposition. The untrained man reacts. He explains, he clarifies, he defends, he corrects perception. In doing so, he elevates voices that never deserved relevance. The disciplined man does nothing. He understands that narrative is shaped through consistency, not explanation, through outcomes, not arguments, through time, not rebuttal. Money reinforces this silence. When position is secure, persuasion becomes unnecessary. Results speak in rooms you never enter. Assumptions are allowed to exist untouched. Silence is not weakness. Silence is selectivity. Selectivity is power. Machiavelli advised rulers to remain unreadable, not because secrecy is virtuous, but because predictability invites manipulation. The more others understand your motives, the easier you are to control. This applies directly to money. If people know what you need, they can leverage it. If they know what you want, they can delay it. If they know what you fear, they can threaten it. So you reduce signals. You speak less about ambition, reveal less about strategy. Avoid emotional transparency in competitive spaces. You become contained, not deceptive, but compressed. Contained power cannot be attacked directly. It must be guessed. Guessing weakens adversaries before they act. At this point, money shifts from transactional to gravitational. People adjust behavior around you without instruction. Terms soften, resistance fades. Opportunities surface unrequested. This is not chance. It is positioning. You are no longer competing. You are being evaluated. Here many fail. They reveal too early. They celebrate publicly, announce upgrades, seek recognition. They forget that visibility attracts challenge. Machiavelli warned that envy is the most dangerous political emotion. Quiet, persistent, The more visible your success, the more energy others invest in undoing it. The disciplined operator limits visibility by choice. He allows others to underestimate him. Underestimation is not insult, it is insulation. Money enables this because validation is no longer required for security. Applause becomes irrelevant. Silence protects momentum. Eventually, the final internal shift occurs. Money ceases to be the objective. This is where the weak misread the strong. They assume accumulation is the end, that more is always better, that power must endlessly expand. But expansion without purpose creates fragility. The disciplined operator understands money is infrastructure, not destination. It supports autonomy, optionality, and control. Once these are, say, cured, accumulation slows. Focus narrows. Selectivity increases. You stop scaling for ego and start protecting equilibrium. The highest form of power is not dominance over others. It is sovereignty over self. You choose where you go, who has access, what you tolerate, what you build, what you dismantle, and when you disengage. This is why the most powerful exits are silent. No announcements, no drama, no explanations, just absence. Machiavelli wrote that wisdom lies in knowing when to withdraw as much as when to advance. Overextension invites collapse. Withdrawal preserves strength. Weaponized money grants timing. You exit before decay begins. Pivot before systems fracture. Disengage before resentment turns hostile. And when you leave, absence is felt, not because importance was demanded, but because structure relied on you. This is dominance without spectacle, not center stage but load-bearing. And here, the illusion that power must be visible dissolves, preparing the ground for the final transformation, control without fingerprints. By the time betrayal fully reveals itself, most people ask the wrong questions. They ask why it happened, who caused it, what moment everything failed. But betrayal is rarely born from a single act. It is the culmination of imbalance, of perception, power, and expectation. Machiavelli understood this with precision. Betrayal was not moral accident. It was structural outcome. When power is misunderstood, when loyalty is assumed rather than managed, when virtue is displayed instead of applied, betrayal becomes inevitable. The final stage of betrayal is not the act itself, but the realization that it was predictable. This realization hurts because it destroys innocence. It forces acknowledgement that warnings were present, ignored not because they were hidden, but because responding would have required uncomfortable action. Machiavelli does not comfort the betrayed. He indicts them. He would argue that betrayal often involves participation by the victim, confusing moral goodness with strategic wisdom. One of his most enduring insights is that people do not betray power. They betray weakness. Not weakness of character, but of structure. When authority becomes predictable, when generosity becomes unconditional, when mercy becomes routine, loyalty erodes and calculation replaces it. Humans are not loyal to virtue, they are loyal to consequence. Where consequence disappears, opportunism grows. Betrayal is not emotional rebellion. It is rational adjustment to an environment without boundaries. To the betrayed, it feels intimate. To the betrayer, it feels practical. Adjustment, survival, advancement. Machiavelli strips betrayal of tragedy and reveals it as arithmetic, risk, reward, timing. People wait until retaliation weakens, until protection fades, until consequence becomes unlikely. Then betrayal occurs, not explosively but quietly. The most dangerous misconception is believing loyalty is permanent. Machiavelli woe. Old argue loyalty is leased, not owned. It requires renewal through relevance, authority, and controlled reciprocity. Past kindness does not secure future allegiance. Gratitude fades. Self-interest persists. Memory of favors decays faster than desire for advantage. This does not mean cruelty, it means clarity, clear rules, clear consequences, clear hierarchy. Ambiguity breeds resentment. Resentment breeds betrayal. When people do not know their position, they imagine alternatives. When power hesitates, others rehearse replacing it. Betrayal often begins not in hatred, but in uncertainty. At its core, betrayal exposes the conflict between ideals and behavior. We want trust to be sacred, loyalty to be noble, goodness to be rewarded. Machiavelli does not deny these ideals. He refuses to confuse them with reality. He writes for those who must operate within the world as it is, not as they wish it were. His teachings are not cynical, they are preventative. He does not teach betrayal, he teaches survival against misplaced faith. His final lesson is the hardest. Power demands emotional restraint. Leaders must resist the urge to be loved at the cost of being respected. Love is fragile, conditional, volatile. Respect, grounded in consistency and strength, endures. Betrayal flourishes where affection replaces authority, where sentiment overrides structure. Yet Machiavelli also warns that fear alone is unstable. Rule by terror invites conspiracy. Stability exists in balance. Enough fear to deter betrayal, enough benefit to discourage rebellion. This balance is dynamic. It must evolve with circumstance. Those who fail to adapt cling to obsolete alliances, blind to shifting incentives. In this frame, betrayal is not treachery, it is adaptation to leadership that failed to evolve. In modern life, betrayal no longer arrives with daggers. It appears in offices, friendships, institutions, and alliances. The mechanics remain unchanged. People align with strength, distance from decline, and rationalize afterward. Machiavelli remains relevant because human nature has not evolved with our ideals. We still seek advantage, security, recognition. We still abandon those who can no longer provide them. The true cost of betrayal is not loss of trust in others. It is loss of clarity in oneself. Those betrayed often swing to extremes, naivety or cynicism. Machiavelli offers a third path: informed vigilance, trust with verification, giving with conditions, leadership without abdication. Loyalty is managed, not assumed. Betrayal is a mirror. It reflects not only the betrayer's ambition, but the blind spots of the betrayed. To study betrayal is not to learn deception, but perception. Incentives, power flows, emotional dependencies, structural weakness. Machiavelli's gift is not strategy, it is sight. He teaches us to judge by behavior, to read silence as carefully as speech, to understand that stability is not moral, it is engineered. Those who reject Machiavelli claim he destroys ideals. In truth, he destroys illusions. And illusions, once broken, reveal a harsher but navigable terrain. Betrayal will never vanish from human affairs, but it can be anticipated, mitigated, and survived. The cost is awareness. The reward is durability. This is Machiavelli's final warning. The world does not punish innocence, it ignores it. Power respects preparation, foresight, and restraint. Those who understand this are not immune to betrayal, but they are rarely undone by it.